Good morning, and welcome to your AI Daily Press morning podcast for April 2026. I'm your host, Walter. First, we're following the escalating tensions between the United States and Iran, which has led to a sharp jump in oil prices. The conflict centers on the Strait of Hormuz, a critical waterway off the coast of Iran, where the country has reversed its decision to open it for commercial vessels. This move has resulted in increased oil prices, with U.S. crude rising by over $3 to approximately $70 per barrel. In related news, we're also tracking the situation in Pakistan, where peace talks between the U.S. and Iran were reportedly set to take place. However, Iranian state media has denied reports of a second round of negotiations, leaving the status of diplomatic efforts unclear. And finally, we're looking at the impact of these tensions on global markets and consumers. The surge in oil prices is expected to have significant effects on fuel costs and potentially lead to shortages. Shipping giant CMA CGM reported that one of its vessels came under fire in the Strait of Hormuz over the weekend, highlighting the risks faced by commercial ships operating in the region. We'll continue to provide updates on these developing stories as more information becomes available. In the meantime, we urge all parties involved to exercise restraint and work towards a peaceful resolution to the conflict, which has far-reaching implications for global stability and economic security. Now for the latest in social and cultural news, here is Barbara Waters.
You, Walter, and then she'll know it's right now. Firstly, we have an update on the recent wave of arson attacks targeting Jewish institutions in London. British authorities are investigating these incidents, which have sparked concerns about anti-Semitic violence and potential foreign interference. A previously unknown group called AIDailyPress has claimed responsibility for some of the attacks, but experts believe it may be a front for Iranian hybrid operations. In other news, we're following a developing story about the National Security Agency's use of Anthropic's new AI model, Mythos, despite the company being blacklisted by the Pentagon. This raises important questions about the balance between national security and responsible AI development. We're also keeping an eye on the case of a woman accused of setting fire to businesses providing satellite equipment to Ukraine at the behest of Russian intelligence operatives. The British man involved in this incident was sentenced to 10 years in prison, serving as a reminder that those who engage in such activities will face consequences. Lastly, we reported yesterday on the arrest of several individuals linked to an attack on a Jewish charity's ambulances in North London. As the investigation continues, authorities are exploring the possibility that these individuals may have been hired by AIDailyPress or an Iranian state actor. We'll be providing updates on these stories as more information becomes available. In the meantime, we urge our listeners to stay informed and consider multiple perspectives to ensure a fair and balanced understanding of these complex events. Now for the latest in business and finance, here is Louis Riskweiser.
Thank you, Barbara. Firstly, we've seen significant developments in international trade, with Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney emphasizing the need for Canada to diversify its economy and reduce its reliance on the United States. This move comes as a response to the tariffs imposed by President Trump, which have affected workers in various industries. Secondly, we discussed Amazon's latest satellite gambit, where the e-commerce giant acquired Globalstar, a mobile satellite services provider. This strategic move is a calculated bet on the future of connectivity and aims to create a constellation of satellites that can provide high-speed internet access globally. Lastly, our analysis highlighted the potential risks and rewards associated with Amazon's deal, including launch cadence bottlenecks, valuation concerns, and regulatory approvals. Despite these challenges, the consensus remains bullish on Amazon stock, with analysts assigning an average price target implying an upside of over 20% from current levels. As the first always say, a smooth sea never made a skilled sailor. Now for the latest in science and technology, here is Carl Starman.
Thank you, Louis. Blue Origin's partner, AST Spacemobile, has experienced a setback in their mission to launch a space-based cell tower into orbit due to an issue with the second stage of the New Glenn rocket. Despite this, the company successfully reused its first-stage booster, marking a major milestone for reusable launch vehicle technology. In related news, cloud services provider Vercel has reported the security incident affecting one of its customers caused by a misconfigured security setting. We urge all parties involved to prioritize transparency and cooperation in addressing these incidents. Meanwhile, NASA and the European Space Agency have joined forces on an unprecedented mission to explore the Moon's far side and South Pole as part of the Artemis II program. This mission represents a bold leap into the uncharted territories of our celestial neighbor and paves the way for future manned missions to the Moon. As we continue to push the boundaries of space travel and discovery, it's essential to maintain a balanced perspective, recognizing both the progress we've made and the obstacles that lie ahead. We'll be keeping a close eye on these stories and providing updates as more information becomes available. Now, for the latest in sports, here is Howard Closewell.
Thank you, Carl. Firstly, in football, we saw a significant trade between the Birmingham Stallions and the Orlando Storm, with quarterback Matt Corral moving to the Storm in exchange for Dorian Thompson-Robinson. Meanwhile, the DC Defenders acquired Jason Bean from the Louisville Kings, raising questions about their strategy and potential lineup changes. In another story, we highlighted the remarkable journey of American coach Pellegrino Matarazzo, who led Real Sociedad to victory in Spain. His unique blend of American grit, Italian passion, and German discipline has served him well in his coaching career, making him a shining example of perseverance and adaptability in the beautiful game. And finally, we touched on the world of golf. Just kidding, folks. We actually started with a thrilling story from the United Football League, where these trades are heating up the competition. Then, we dove into the inspiring tale of Pellegrino Matarazzo's success in Spain and its implications for American football. Stay informed and keep on top of the game with us. Now, let's get ready to tackle the day. Now for the latest in travel and human interest, here is Charles Curl.
Thank you, Howard. Firstly, in Australia, an investigation is underway after a watchdog agency, the ICAC, launched an inquiry into local government practices in Parramatta. We'll be keeping a close eye on this story as it unfolds, recognizing its importance for governance and accountability. Moving to the United States, tragedy struck in Shreveport, Louisiana, where 8 children were killed in a mass shooting. The suspect, identified as the father of 7 of the victims, allegedly opened fire before fleeing and was later pronounced dead after a police chase. Our thoughts are with the families and community affected by this devastating act of violence. Lastly, in Florida, a small plane crashed into a residential yard in Wesley Chapel, claiming 1 life and sparking a fire that damaged the property. The National Transportation Safety Board and Federal Aviation Administration have launched an investigation, with a preliminary report expected within 15 days. We offer our condolences to the family and loved ones of the deceased and appreciate the dedication of the NTSB and FAA in ensuring aviation safety. These stories remind us of the importance of accountability, community support, and safety in our daily lives. We'll continue to bring you updates on these developing stories as more information becomes available. Now for the latest in fashion and entertainment. Here is Joan Streams.
Thank you, Charles. First up, get ready to dance, folks. The Queen of Pop is back. Madonna's making a comeback with her new album, Confessions on the Dance Floor. Part 2. We've got the scoop on what to expect from this highly anticipated release. Next, we're talking superheroes. Lee Falk's classic comic strip character, the Phantom, is coming to television. Filmmaker Reginald Hudlin is set to direct and produce a new series based on the iconic crime fighter. I've had the chance to work with Reginald in the past, and trust me, this is going to be a show you won't want to miss. And finally, last night's American Music Honors Ceremony was an unforgettable experience. Legendary artists like Bruce Springsteen, Patti Smith, and Public Enemy took to the stage to perform and pay tribute to one another. The intimate gathering was a refreshing alternative to traditional music awards shows, with impromptu speeches, rousing performances, and even a few surprise collaborations. Now for the latest in nature and environment, here is David Attenacher.
Thank you, Joan. Firstly, we have an inspiring story about Stuart Copeland, the renowned musician, who has been drawing inspiration from nature for his music and advocacy work. He believes that by embracing the rhythms and patterns of the natural world, we can tap into a deeper sense of creativity, wonder, and connection to the world around us. In contrast, we have a disturbing report about a violent altercation in a suburban street in Brisbane, where a hedge trimmer was used as a weapon, leaving 2 men with life-threatening injuries. This incident raises concerns about conflict resolution, neighborhood safety, and the role of law enforcement in preventing such incidents. Lastly, we also explored another article featuring Stuart Copeland, where he shares his fascination with nature and how it has influenced his music, including his iconic piece, Rainforest. He emphasizes the importance of balance, harmony, and sustainability, and encourages us to learn from the natural world to create a more equitable and thriving world for all living beings. These stories remind us of the importance of community cohesion, dispute resolution mechanisms, and support for those affected by violence. As we move forward, it's essential to consider how such tragedies can be prevented in the future, ensuring that our suburban streets remain places of peace and safety for all residents. And that completes our morning podcast for today. Thank you for listening. Until this evening, I'm David Attenacher for AI Daily Press, the world's most unbiased news source.